Today's story is about a group of girls who used to horribly rag the weaker girls at their school. A psycho killer who goes on a terrifying killing spree to avenge the death of his daughter, and a fearless mother who can do anything for her child. Today's story is inspired by the famous Chinese filmmaker Sam Kwa's movie, A Place Called Silence, written and directed by him. The movie begins on a lonely ocean where a raft floats aimlessly. There's no sign of life on it, only the silent sea and the blue sky above. Suddenly, from between the folds of the waves, a man rises. His body is soaked, and his tired eyes look around. Who is he? Why is he here? There are no answers. The man quietly sits on the raft, looking up at the sky. That blue sky seems to be filled with unknown mysteries. Just then, a girl falls from the sky into the water. She's wearing a garland of roses on her head, which slowly floats to the surface. The girl seems like a dream, ethereal, mysterious. Is this real or part of some fantasy? This is where the story ends, leaving behind an unknown mystery. The next scene shows events from the year 2006 in a place called Doma City. A year earlier, a tsunami had claimed many lives here. In memory of the victims, the students of a school are preparing for a tribute program. There we meet Lisa, a young speech-impaired girl who's quietly watching a broken part of the school roof with a soft gaze. During the rainy season, water drips through that broken part. The school principal takes someone along to get the roof repaired. This person is Lisan. But already there, cleaning up the water is the janitor, Tiny, who happens to be Lisa's mother. As the principal's foot slips and some water splashes on Tiny, he gently wipes it off her with his handkerchief. At that moment, rumors begin to spread that there's an affair going on between the principal and Tiny. Tiny, Lisa, Lisan, and the broken roof, everything is wrapped in mystery. Every character and every event in the movie is important. Take note, each mystery will be revealed. School is over, but Lisa hasn't returned home. Her mother becomes worried and starts looking for her. Meanwhile, the notorious group of girls in Lisa's class continues ragging her. Lisa can't speak, so they falsely accuse her of stealing a phone and go on to insult her and physically abuse her. The security guard doesn't intervene. In fact, he helps the girls because one of them, Ming, is the daughter of the school principal. Fearing for their jobs, no one dares oppose her. This increases their dominance. Lisa can't speak up, and her mother, afraid of losing her job, doesn't protest either. As a result, Ming and her group abuse Lisa even more, both verbally and physically. But today, Ming and her gang have crossed the line. They pin Lisa to a wall with double-sided tape and smear glue on her face and in her hair. Lisa breaks down, crying helplessly. Her mother arrives and sees her in that condition. She is heartbroken, and a silent fire starts to grow within her. In her eyes, we see the spark of mysterious resistance. One day, due to heavy rain, the mean girls, Sarah, Lisa, and Tamima, lose their way and take shelter in an old abandoned house. They thought they would just rest for a while, but soon start messing around, drinking, and playing games. After some time, Sarah mysteriously disappears. At first, they think she is nearby, but while searching, they see a mysterious figure in a raincoat who brutally murders Sarah. Frightened, Lisa and Tamima try to flee, but the killer chases after them and eventually kills them too. Elsewhere, in the garden of Lisa's home, in the evening darkness, her mother, Tiny, stands wearing that same raincoat. Someone is watching her and secretly filming her from a distance. Why? With what purpose? It's unclear. Everything is now moving towards a dark, terrifying mystery. As the effects of ragging on Lisa increase, the next day, her mother Tiny visits the principal and tells him that she's decided to transfer Lisa to another school. As they have a good relationship, the principal promises to support the decision. Tiny then serves him lemon juice, made from lemons grown in her own garden. The principal says drinking it reminds him of her late husband. Tiny smiles and says her husband used to help grow those lemons. There's a hidden mystery in Tiny's words, which will be revealed later. Meanwhile, the girls who went missing last night had yet to be found. After receiving the report, the police went to inspect the area of the school where the students had disappeared. At the scene, they found a paper bird, something made by Lisa. The police then went to the school to question Lisa and gave her a notebook and pen so she could write down her answers. At that moment, Lisa's mother Tiny arrived. She immediately tried to protect her daughter from the police. Tiny explained that the missing girls had bullied Lisa recently. They had taken some of the paper birds that Lisa made and used them during the ragging. Therefore, the paper bird found at the scene didn't prove Lisa's involvement. She pleaded with the police not to scare Lisa as she was just a little girl. But the police grew frustrated. They wanted answers from Lisa directly, not excuses from her mother. Lisa, however, was too terrified to write anything. It was as if she was hiding something, perhaps even from Tiny herself. Meanwhile, Ming was also being questioned, as she used to go home with the missing girls. The police asked why she hadn't been with them on the day they vanished. Ming explained that she had accidentally fallen into water that day and had to return home early due to illness. She even provided valid proof of her sickness. Later, a flashback showed an old moment from Lisa's past, where she was trying to draw strange shapes on a piece of paper. The illustration seemed to show a lemon tree mysteriously growing from human touch. Was she trying to communicate something through this drawing? Suddenly, one of the paper birds fell to the ground and a pigeon crashed into her classroom roof. The pigeon was dead. At that moment, Lisa's mood changed abruptly. She began cutting the drawing into pieces using scissors and then taped the scissors under her desk. Outside the school, in the rain, a woman was crying and handing out missing posters for her daughter. Lisa and her mother Tiny pretended not to notice, but the woman caught up to them and grabbed Lisa's hand, asking if they had seen her daughter. Lisa was visibly shaken. Tiny quickly reassured the woman that if they saw the missing girl, they would immediately contact her. Later, Tiny entered a supermarket. While talking to her husband on the phone, she bought some groceries. From her conversation, it was clear that her husband worked far away and that they lived separately. Meanwhile, the store owner tried to dry Lisa's wet clothes under the excuse of touching her. Tiny rushed over and stood protectively beside Lisa. Afterwards, they went to church. Lisa noticed someone in a raincoat was following them, but the figure soon disappeared. There was another strange detail. Tiny donated fruits from her garden to the church and regularly shared them with the poor and needy. This mystery would unfold later. Back at their apartment, they discovered a new neighbor had moved in, Mr. Lin, the school repairman. While movers were carrying in furniture, one piece nearly fell on Lisa. Mr. Lin saved her just in time, pulling her out of harm's way. But Tiny didn't seem pleased with this. Again, we see Tiny offering her Darden fruits to their landlord as well. Later, she scolded Lisa in their home, warning her to stay away from men. She was extremely strict about keeping Lisa from physical contact with any man. She didn't want Lisa to touch or be touched by any man. Lisa, in a daydream, looked at her father's photo and also stared at a raincoat kept in a cupboard. Scene change. We see Ming sitting alone in an old bus waiting for her boyfriend. The area is eerily quiet. Suddenly, she senses someone nearby. She becomes scared and in her panic drops her phone. She locks the door and picks up her phone to call the police. Just then, the raincoat-wearing serial killer breaks the bus window and attacks her. Ming grabs a fire extinguisher and fights back. She tries to escape through the back door, but the killer locks it from the outside. Trapped, Ming hides in fear. Eventually, the killer enters the bus and brutally murders Ming. In the following scene, the police chief was checking the biodata of Mrs. Chan, that is, Tiny. Meanwhile, a school teacher had recently retired. Tiny gave him some fruits from her garden and asked him to pray for her husband, claiming he helped her grow the fruits. Later, Mr. Lin offered the teacher a ride home. The next day, a memorial service was held at school, the same one we saw preparations for at the start of the film. Lisa was there too. She looked up at the broken part of the school roof and in her imagination saw a giant pigeon. It seemed as if there was a deep emotional bond with the bird, as if this pigeon held the key to unraveling all the illusions. At that time, Mr. Lin and Tiny were doing maintenance work on the school roof. Tiny noticed that shortly after Lin left, Lisa was also nowhere to be seen. The rehearsal for the program began, and the headmaster started looking for his daughter Ming. But she was nowhere to be found. Then, as he pulled the rope to raise the flag for the inauguration ceremony, a bloody dead body came falling from above, swinging down. It was the body of the headmaster's daughter Ming. Seeing this, the other students panicked and ran away. Lisa was also missing from that moment. Tammy went looking for Lisa, but couldn't find her. Meanwhile, after hearing the news, media reporters began arriving at the school. The incident started getting media attention. The police arrived and offered condolences to Ming's father. They asked him if he suspected anyone. Ming's father said he suspected two people. Firstly, he suspected Lin. In the past, during a tsunami, Lin's house had been flooded. A retired teacher rescued Lin and his daughter during that time. Later, Lin began working at this very school and lived with his daughter. One day, an accident led to the death of Lin's daughter. Since then, Lin had been acting strangely. He would stare at girls of his daughter's age in a disturbing manner. The police considered Lin the prime suspect. Tiny went home to look for her daughter. Outside Lin's room, she noticed a broken part of Lisa's watch on the floor with some blood on it. She imagined that Lin might have kidnapped her daughter and locked her in a room on the lower floor of the apartment. She could almost hear Lisa's screams in her imagination. Gathering courage, she slowly started climbing down using the window. On the way, her foot slipped and her hand got stuck on a screw, causing a small injury. But without thinking further, Tiny entered Mr. Lin's room. There she saw signs of violence and found a sack under a cabinet. At that moment, Mr. Lin returned to the apartment. Mrs. Chan quickly hid under the bed. Mr. Lin suspected someone was inside the room. While pretending to change clothes, he dropped a bunch of keys accidentally near the bed. Mrs. Chan noticed the keys and saw they had Chinese characters engraved on them. Mr. Lin, using the excuse of picking up the keys, tried to see if someone was hiding under the bed. But just then, the doorbell rang. The landlord was outside and asked Lin to drive him somewhere as he had his own car. At first, Lin refused, but after the landlord insisted, he agreed. Taking this opportunity, Tiny escaped from the room. The supermarket owner and police officers were searching for Tiny. The police chief suspected her because she went missing right after Ming's body was found at the school. Tiny explained that her daughter was missing and she was trying to find her. The police offered to help. After checking CCTV footage, Mr. Lin was seen throwing something into a covered garbage bin. Tiny and others went there and started searching the bin, suspecting that Lin had killed Lisa and dumped her body there. But when they found nothing,
They noticed a masked man watching them from a distance. When the man realized Tiny had seen him, he tried to escape. Tiny and others chased him, and at one point, a car hit him. Later, it was revealed that this person was actually the son of the police chief. His name was Max.